All right, so only a few influences on our Constitution. Within our response, or sorry, within your response, use examples that we discussed in class. So there's a few that we talked about already. I do got to cover Enlightenment philosophers. There's a few that I want to mention and what kind of influence, impact they have on our Constitution. So with the project, I'd like you guys to create somewhat of a uh, it was a trading card before. You guys big into cards? Sports cards, Yari? Yeah, you can kind of do that. Pokemon? Okay. All right, there you go. So you can kind of create a card based off of one of these Enlightenment philosophers, which should be fun. I think you guys will somewhat enjoy it. Anyway, I'll put that out here shortly towards the end of class. Hello, Mr. Bowman. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep. I'll send it right down. Yep. Bye. Zara. I keep forgetting too. Oh, good. Just check out the rest of the lesson then, okay? Vocab, the map. I don't have any more.
You don't have any more? That's
No.
still going on Canva, because I have
Yeah.
paper, I just didn't.
Yeah. Yep. I think you can do it on Cami. Well, you can do it on Canva, photo app, whatever. All right. Thanks. All right, here we go. So influences, what do we talk about? And you could have just used your assignment to help you with this one. So what influences do we have to our US Constitution? What was one of them? Lydia. Yeah, good job, right? So look at ancient Greece. What do we get from there? Ancient Greece. Was this the first direct democracy? Yeah, where'd that happen? What part of Greece? City-state. Athens, yeah, good job. So with Athens being a direct democracy, first one, you can see why that would be a huge impact to our Constitution. And then later down the line here, we get the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire did things a little bit different, right? As their empire is bigger and bigger, it had more people, right? Yeah. So it's not like they could just take everybody's, well, they could, but it's not like they could just, it would be overwhelming to have all these people kind of having their insight, their opinions on the government, where it should go. So they had more of a, what kind of democracy? A representative democracy, right? Known as a republic, okay? So when it comes to our government, this is more what we have because it's such a big area, a big population. And the bigger the population, it's just harder to gather up everybody's insight on what direction the government should go. So we have a representative democracy, and we have a republic, which is important to note, okay? Important to note. All right, what else is an inspiration here? Is everything when it comes to judicial, executive branch, constitution, a consul, it's very similar, right? The dynamics of our government to the Roman Empire is very, very similar, right? You look at the Senate, right? The Roman Senate, right? Do we have a Senate? Yeah, but we also have a House of Representatives. So we have a bicameral system within our legislature, right? Obviously, theirs was a little different, but for the most part, the same. All right, what else did we kind of copy from them? What about our buildings, right? Did I show you guys the buildings? Yeah, so when you think about state buildings, Capitol building, it really has this Romanesque architecture, which gives them homage, or gives homage back to ancient Rome, where we got a lot of these great ideas for our government. A three-branch system, right? You kind of saw that too with the graph I showed you within the presentation. So yeah, a lot of that is very, very similar. What else do we utilize as an influence? So ancient Greece and Rome, great. What else? What other country? Kind of weird because we broke away from them, huh? What country was it? Someone else. Caden? Yeah, Britain, good job. So we have this English influence, right? And the specifics of it. What was that great charter called? Where limits the power of the king. What was that called? Help me out here, please. Remember, I had to yell at you guys the other day about this. What was that called? The Great Charter, or the old document, old. Limits the power of the king. Sorry, YouTube. No one pay attention. Yeah, the Magna Carta. Thank you. Awesome. Good. All right. So the Magna Carta limits the power of the king. So these leaders of government can't just act without their own, act out of the bounds of what the Constitution states, right? So it limits the power of the king, right? Yeah, you remember this? Okay. All right. What about the Bill of Rights? Do we have a Bill of Rights? Yes, we do. Right. Specifically states our liberties, our opportunities here, our privileges, and that can't be infringed on. The unwritten constitution, constitution is another influence that we gathered, right? Do we have some implied laws that we don't have specifically written down? Yeah, we do. Right? We have a set of values and norms that we follow, and even though it's not specifically jotted down on a document. All right. What else? What else was an influence? Before there were states, there were what? 13 what? Charlotte. Yeah, the colonial heritage. Good job. So what were some examples of colonial heritage that we look back to help create our Constitution? It's not like we just scrapped everything. We actually had some good ideas. Liv? Yeah, good job. So a lot of the colonies were formed based off of religious freedom. So why wouldn't that be in our government? So yeah, this unique this unique idea here to make sure that we have religious freedom, specifically in Pennsylvania, where the Holy Experiment as a colony, as a state, right? So that's important to have. Now, when it comes to a certain set of values and ideas that each state has to offer, it's not like we just threw it out the window. Right? We look back at the colonies, governance, and applied it to our very own. Right? The House of Burgesses was another good example, right? Yeah, this was like a legislative branch here. This was like a body here that created laws in Virginia. And this was a good idea to help shape our legislative branch. So the House of Burgesses is another good example. What else? What was the first form of democracy in the New World? It was a compact. The Pilgrims sail on it. What was it? What they sail on? Canaan? Yeah, the Mayflower Compact. Good. So this was the first form of direct democracy in the New World, right? In what we know of modern day United States. So that's something to think about when it comes to our influences. Guys, real quick, please help me out. Pay attention here. The Constitution is the most important written document ever in American and world history, if you ask me. A lot of these ideas that shape the government we have never been utilized in this manner before. Yeah, well, they've been kind of tried and failed, but what we have here is something very important. We just can't forget about it or not care about it. We need to know a little bit about this Constitution and the history behind it, but also how it works for us. Okay. When you think about the progression of the world, it was really ugly early on. There's a lot of wars, a lot of fights, a lot of authoritarianism. This Constitution protects our rights, our freedoms, and to not care about it, I think it's kind of a slap to the face to not only our founding fathers that created it, but the veterans that fought for us, the ones that lost their lives in all these wars to make sure we have the rights and freedoms that we deserve, God-given rights. So guys, please, through this chapter and next, help me out here as we go through the bell ringer. Shouldn't have took that long. Shouldn't have. All right, here are your terms. All right, so now we're diving into Enlightenment Philosophers. So these are some names you should have heard before. Yeah, me for world history, definitely. All right, we got Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Montesquieu, Voltaire, Adam Smith, Mary Wollstonecraft, and Beccaria. Cesare Beccaria. Some say Beccaria, however you want to pronounce it. Yo. Yep. How about I zoom in to these names and I'll zoom back out and go to the other ones. Does that work? See how okay? Okay. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll just do these few here. I might only get to Montesquieu and be done, but we'll see. That's a good point. I like that. I don't have to do them all at once. All right, so with these Enlightenment philosophers, they'll also influence the U.S. Constitution, the government. All right. One particular that kind of stands out, maybe that doesn't, is Thomas Hobbes. I will talk about Thomas Hobbes and his social contract. He believes an absolute monarchy is essential, needed, in order to guide the corrupt, evil people of the world. Right. So that he believed that people were greedy, selfish, that were just plain out evil, and they needed an absolute monarchy to guide them in a better direction, in a proper direction. So he's kind of the outlier, Thomas Hobbes. I just want to let you guys know that before he moved on too far. All right. So real quick, well, the Enlightenment. Well, what is it? The Enlightenment's the age of reason. Make sure you write that. Okay. So with the Enlightenment period, this is a time period right around when this printing press is moving on. You guys remember that invention of printing press? Okay, very important, right? Because information is what? Information is what? Muscle, power, right? Yeah, power. Information is power. If more people are informed, well, it's going to be a lot harder for, let's say, the government or let's say an absolute monarch to control the people. Like if they're trying to tell you one thing and it's blatantly wrong, right? Well, you can imagine that people are going to kick back against it. It's like, hold on a minute, hold on. And you still see that a little bit today. Right, a lot of leaders, government, let's face it, our politicians, they always tell the truth, do they? No, right? So it's one of those things where you can look at it and say, hold on, right? There's a reason why we learned this here. This enlightenment is good, right? That people need to be informed. And thanks to that printing press, well, a lot of people were reading about these new ideas, these new viewpoints of what government should be. Well, let's face it, right? This is still resounding today. This is still sounding alarms today, right? More so with social media, right? As people have more access than ever to information. You almost become numb to it in a way, right? You're scrolling, you're scrolling, you're scrolling, you're scrolling, and there's a lot of things going on at once. That's why with the news, anybody watch the news anymore? On TV. Honestly, I'm not. I mean, I'll watch in the morning for the weather, but after that, it's like, well, I find everything literally on social media, right? All my news articles, all this information happens like that. So by the time you sit down after school, after archery, after work, right, that news is already what? It's old, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So social media gives you the boom, 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 direct information. Now, you don't want to fall yourself into an echo chamber, that's for sure. Right, depending on certain viewpoints and ideologies, if you fall into that, and you're only hearing the same bit of information, hearing the same voices over and over and over again. Is it good to hear the other side of things? Yeah, it is. And you can make up your own mind on what's really going on. Anyway, with the age of reason, okay, this was this time period during this age of absolutism where people start to question and think, maybe this divine right leader isn't so divine. Maybe this divine right leader isn't what everybody's saying he's cracked up to be. All right, so philosophies, right? These people met, you guys remember, in salons, not hair salons, but these salons here is where people gather. Well, you can kind of think of it as like a hair salon. What do women do when they get together and get their hair done? Don't they gossip all the time? Yeah, for sure. But in this case here, with government ideas and philosophies, right? They had to keep it hidden. Because let's face it, if the king heard out that these crazy ideas, government is being bounced around, do you think he's going to allow it? No, they don't. So they had to keep these areas, these meetings in secrecy. Anyway, salons, just write that down. Salons is where these people can talk about these new enlightened views, these new enlightened ideas. All right, anyway, England, I wanted to make sure you remember the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, this constitutional monarchy. Hey, remember the types of government we talked about? Yeah. So the constitutional monarchy is kind of guiding this direction of enlightenment, where people now can elect officials in it. They have parliament, I get it, right? But we use that as an influence to our legislative branch. Okay, it's not right like parliament, but it's pretty darn close. Right? These elected officials make decisions for the people. That's known as the representative democracy of a republic. Yeah? All right, good. All right, first one, Adam Smith. Let's talk about him. Well, we already talked about Adam Smith. So I guess I can skip the slide, can't I? This economic system of, what was it? What was this economic system he came up with? What is that called? Sort of the state. Not communism, don't you dare bring that one up. What's it called? Capitalism. Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate it. So Adam Smith, with his idea of capitalism here, he kind of coined the term. Get it? Coined the term. Anyway, this is more of a market economy where businesses will compete against one another, driving for innovation. And that's going to raise the standard of living because let's face it, you want a business that supports the people, right? You want the consumer to buy your product. That means you can't jip them, right? You can't charge them this expensive cost, right? For your product or good. And at the same time, it's got to be a good product. You don't want to buy junk, do you? No, right? So that's something to think about. You remember we talked about the PlayStation 5? Yeah, Xavier was here talking all about it. Yeah, miss that guy. Anyway, so when it comes to the PlayStation 5, I'm telling you what, I got another controller and I still have that stick drift or whatever it's called. I still have it. So I gotta get another one. I'm soon done with it. Soon done. I'm gonna sell it.
Could just spray something.
Spray something in there.
Take the,
Like a rubber piece off.
yeah, you take the controller apart, the top portion, and then take the cap off and spray them before you go there. And then put that.
Really? Okay, I'll have to try it out. Okay, this blows up.
I've seen multiple videos on it.
The thing blows up.
This blows up from the, they don't just bring it in and let you do it. Yeah. Gates like that, you know. All right, so you guys remember laissez-faire economics, the invisible hand, keep government out of the workings of the economy. Right, these private industries are what's going to guide a better direction for standard of living, for people's livelihood, good products, lower prices. Like this is great. Come on. So yeah, we talked about Adam Smith quite a bit already. We mentioned about obviously capitalism quite a bit. Easy way to remember them, right? So if you're going through this and making a list, right, take the S out of his name and put a dollar sign, right? So that's why you know it's capitalism, it's economic system. You got it? You do that? Take that S out, put a dollar sign there instead. So then you're like, okay, I can make this connection. Capitalism, right? When it comes to private business, when it comes to entrepreneurship, this is great, awesome. All right, Thomas Hobbes, this is the guy I was telling you about. Just be careful, oh man. So he comes up with this idea that, well, 1600s, he's from England. This is right around this English Civil War. And there's two sides of the matter. There's people that wanted a parliamentary system, meaning representative government, and there's people that wanted to support the king, authoritarianism. This guy says that absolute monarchy is needed. Why? Because man is born evil. He's saying that man is corrupted, they're selfish, they're greedy. Okay? The only way to keep them in line is through an authoritarian government. Right? Make sure that you can guide their actions. People don't have freedoms. No. They're here to praise the divine right leader, God. Religion was a big part of people's lives back then, obviously. And he's saying that man is born evil, they're corrupt, they're greedy, and they need this power, right, above them. We know that as correct then, right? We see this and say, come on now, right? People should have freedom of speech, right? People should have freedom of religion. Right? People should be able to own a gun, right? Come on now. So when you think about these amendments, what we have in our Constitution, he wasn't thinking so. All right, real quick, make sure you guys write this down. Social contract, right? A social contract is agreement. So a contract's like an agreement between you and if you're working somewhere, you're an employee, right? But in this case, he believes this contract should be between you and the government. He's saying you give up all rights to the government, right? And they'll protect you. That's it. That's it. Okay, is that right? No, the government should do a lot more for your rights, and they should protect your rights. Okay, when it comes to freedom of speech, right? When it comes to freedom of religion, right? All of it, everything we kind of just hashed over, right? His social contract, though, is saying you give up everything in order for protection from the government. We know that's not. All right, look at this. It is not wisdom, but authority that makes the law. That was one of his famous quotes. So he's saying, hey, you Enlightenment philosophers, you guys are nuts. You're crazy. This government that you're envisioning in your mind will never come to be. The only thing that's going to create a law is power and authority, right? We need to enforce that law through power. We kind of talked about that with that whiskey rebellion with George Washington. Right, was he kind of acting like the military dictator? Kind of. Right, I'm not trying to diss George Washington here, but sending 13,000 troops out on the frontier. I mean, obviously, you can look at it and say he had to, which, yeah, he did, but it didn't look good. All right, here we go, John Locke. So John Locke, he's famed for writing the two treatises of government and the Declaration of Rights of Man. All right, he believed, not like Thomas Hobbes, he didn't believe that man was evil or greedy or selfish. You got that? He believed that people were born with a blank slate, meaning that you learn over time, right? Depending on your surroundings, depending on your peers, depending on who you encounter, right? Your environment, that's what's going to shape you and who you are. You guys ever hear of you are who you hang out with? Ever hear that before? Yeah. So he's kind of saying this. It's like your surroundings, your personality, your character is who you surround yourself with. Anyway, he also believes that we learn over time our freedoms and rights are given to us by God. Right? This is something, again, that they just can't take away from you. Right? The three rights that I want you to write down that he promises to people, that God promises to people, is life, liberty, and what do you think? Life, liberty, and property. Yes, good job. Do you remember that? Nice. A lot of people say pursuit of happiness, which, yeah, sure. But he's saying life, liberty, and property. Government cannot take that away. They need to protect it. Okay. And at this time, do you think a lot of people have their own private property? No, they did not. Right? No, they did not. So that was something just kind of strange for the time for many people. Right? But life, liberty, and property, your rights, your freedoms are promised to you. John Locke, easy way to remember it. Ready for this one? Locke, he's trying to lock your freedoms, your liberties in for you. Right? This is locked in between you and God. Okay? No one can take that away, not even government. All right. So with John Locke, I put a quote down here for you guys. You guys can check that out on your own, just because of time's sake, and they keep it moving. But the biggest thing here too is self-government by the people. So this guy is totally different from Thomas Hobbes. He's saying, hey, this government needs to be for the people, by the people, right? Men are born equal and free. Oh, wait a minute, you can find that in our Declaration of Independence, right? You can find that in a lot of our documents here. His viewpoints on what government is. Natural rights, yep, government should protect your rights. Lock them in. Get it? Life, liberty, property. Awesome. All right, Rousseau. Okay, last one we're gonna go over today. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Okay, he's famed for writing the social contract. So this guy was from France, and he helped inspire the French Revolution. So with this social contract, remember, Thomas Hobbes had one too. Right? His social contract's a little bit different than Thomas Hobbes. Right? Thomas Hobbes says you give up everything to the government for the protection. Okay, that's maybe not the right way to go about it. Right? Rousseau's saying that, well, government needs to protect all of your rights. Okay, it's not just, it's not just, you don't give up all your rights to the government. You only give up maybe a few of them. There's only a few of them. And in return, the government protects your freedoms. The government protects your liberties. That's the key difference there. Right? It's not like they're just there to protect you from an invasion or, let's say, an external force. Now, they're there to protect you, yeah, from that, but protect your freedoms and rights. And they can't take that away from you. Is that an inspiration of the Bill of Rights? I would think so, right? I would think so. So his social contract's a lot different than Thomas Hobbes. He likes the idea of the terminology of it, sure. And he likes the idea that there is an agreement between you and the government. But you don't give up every single right to the government. No, they got to protect your rights. All right, anyway, individual freedom of people, right? Direct democracy. So yeah, we got to represent democracy, obviously. Inspired the French Revolution. Real quick, here's a great quote by him. I think this is important to write down. This guy is telling the time. Man is born free, and everywhere he's in chains. So meaning you're born with the rights that God gives you. Everything, right? Your freedom of speech, you list it, and it goes on and on. But as you look around to all these governments of the time in Europe, these authoritarian governments, they hold you down, they lock you down, they take away your rights, and it almost seems like you're in jail. Right? You don't have the ability to express your way, your ability, who you are, in any means. So that's a great way to look at the governments around Europe at the time and the world, and how he's helping inspire this French Revolution. Say enough with his absolute monarchy. We need to have a government for the people, by the people, that protects your freedoms and your rights. All right, is there any questions? Okay, I'm going to end there. Okay, we will talk about more of these Enlightenment philosophers tomorrow. And then how about tomorrow? I'll introduce your project now. I kind of talked about it already. Like I said, Friday would be cool to do this. It would be. Be awesome. Then Thursday, I can give you a work day. Does that work? So here we go. What I want you to do is I'm putting out a discussion post too. So whoever you want to research, just like the Dictators Project, you just comment, you reply to the post saying who you would like to research. All right, so this is what it looks like. I even have an example. So I just want you to create a trading card based off of your Enlightenment philosopher. So very similar to what we did before. So there's a symbol, biographical information, key ideas, and then impact on modern government. So a lot of these philosophers helped obviously bring on inspiration to our amendments, to our constitution, to our system of government. And I want you to mention that within your trading card. So again, think of a football card or a baseball card, right, Yari? What does it do? It tells you the person has a picture on it, what team they played for. In this case, you can say what country they're from, what was their famous works. So like their stat line, you know what I mean? So you can kind of make it like a baseball card in a way. But there you can mention their works, their books that they created, their impact on modern government. That'd be awesome, right? So that's what I'm looking for with this project. A quote. So a quote that you can introduce, right? I'd like you to put that somewhere on the card too. So either on the front, back, maybe underneath the picture of your philosopher, right? And just make it unique. Have fun with it. Be creative. Okay. It shouldn't take you long to do. And as I'm going through the notes, you can use your notes to help you with the information. The presentation, I have that online on Canvas. You can use that to help you. Right. Any other information, make sure you cite it, MLA. Right. Here's the example I have. This is a Pokemon card. It was funny. So here's Adam Smith. Okay. Evolved from capitalism. Boom. There you go. The invisible hand. That was the symbol. Looks cool. I guess he's like a psychic power. Who knows? Anyway, beliefs, ideas. There they are. Impact on government. Oh. Impact on government. There it is listed. Here's the quote. So yeah, pretty cool. Scottish philosopher. There you go. And then here is the citation. Got it? It's pretty easy. If you want to make it like a baseball card, that'd be cool. A football card, whatever. Again, a lot of people played Pokemon back in the day. So that's something that comes up. Charlotte, I know you're a big fan. All right. Anyway, what's up, Yari? Yeah.